Hey patrons, I am here to tell you today about a wine fault. That stinks, but it happened to me and I feel like it's been happening a little more frequently, which is a bit disturbing because this issue had gone away for a while. It is the issue of oxidation or too much oxygen in a wine. Now, this is what a wine will look like, a regular wine will look like when it has been exposed to too much oxygen. Similar to when you cut into an apple and it starts to turn brown, you'll have this. So I opened up this lovely Côte d'Rône Blanc. I was very excited to have its creamy deliciousness. I was aware that there was a little bit of skin contact, which can cause a tiny bit of darkening of the wine and also a bit more oxidation because it's sitting in contact with the oxygen for longer. But this is a flawed wine. And so the wine is totally brown. It lost all of its fruit character. It does not taste, so this is a lower acidity wine, less barrier to oxidation. Acidity and tannin are great barriers to oxidation, which is why a lot of times you can leave a red wine open for longer than a white. A white, unless it has incredibly high acid, Riesling is a little bit longer lived, it's gonna die a little bit sooner, and wines that have lower acidity and lower tannin are also not going to last once you've exposed them to oxygen. So what happens, the wine turns a little brownish, as you can see, the flavors are not fresh, there's really no fruitiness, it tastes really flat. It can taste like sherry, if you know what that tastes like. If not, I would recommend that you try a purposefully oxidized wine, which is made very intentionally and quite delicious, as opposed to this, which is just, it's like a shadow of its former self. It's very sad. So it can either be exposed to oxygen during the winemaking process, or it can be because of a bad closure. I don't know what the issue is with this wine. I don't know what occurred. To me though, the problem is a Côte d'Rône Blanc is not high in acidity, and so of course white wines are gonna be more prone to this. But we've got an issue where, you know, this is happening, and I'm seeing it a little bit more. For a long stretch of time, I barely had any oxidized wines that were not of my own making. Of course, like if you leave a bottle open too long, you leave it open overnight, or, you know, it's just you messed it up and, you know, like forgot about it in the fridge, it might become oxidized. Fine, you know, like a week is a lot to ask, especially of a white and sometimes of a red. But in this case, I've been seeing more of these wines, especially from warmer climates. So I am showing this to you and telling you about this because it's a watch out. It's something you should look for. It is not tasty. Bring the wine back if you buy it at a store, or call. I got this wine from Astor Wines in New York City, and I called them and told them, you know, this wine was flawed, and they gave me a credit. So oxidation is a real problem unless it's sherry, and then we want our wines oxidized. There are some purposefully oxidized, like hipster wines that have lots of skin contact and stuff like that. That is a very different category. I'm not a huge fan of them. You might like them. They kind of taste like old apple skin to me, which that's not really what I love in wine, but some people do. It's a watch out. It's pretty disappointing, but anyway, you can always get your money back and make sure that you're not drinking oxidized wine. Thanks so much for your support.